Start your engine!
I am good on my end.
Have some fun. It's gonna work.
Yes, sir.
Get ready.
Does anybody else think he looks kind of like a dweeb sitting here?
I don't understand how I'm so slow.
Oh, spinning around.
Oh, got hit from behind. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, of course it was Stenhouse.
Hey, Suarez. That's why you get the middle finger in real life.
I'm gonna wreck him.
Ooh, he was definitely going for it, trying to wreck him.
Ty Dillon wrecked me. And then Emma jumped on the wheel and Emma tried to wreck Ty. And we got disqualified.
Klingerman gets it, and Priest.
Oh, the caution is out.
Can't believe that just happened. Damn it, all day.
Oh man, they're racing really hard up there.
It's the only thing you can't do virtually in this thing is put the hand gesture out the window.
Oh, he sent them!
Timmy Hill.
Wow.
That was exciting. I had to do a little boot scoot and boogie here in Texas on Willie B, but I can't believe it. It was such a fun race. Glad to pull the victory off.
Well, that was Texas. Now we move to the world's fastest half mile and Bristol Motor Speedway. Virtually, we're in Tennessee. Actually, we're in Charlotte at Fox Sports Charlotte in the Steve Burns studio. Hi, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of this series, where we get to see NASCAR's greatest stars having a lot of fun on iRacing and bring you along for the ride. I'm Mike Joy, along with Hall of Famer Jeff Gordon, who knows a little something about the bump and run.
Mike, but not at Texas Motor Speedway. I mean, we're having a blast calling these iRacing events here on FS1. And last week at Texas, we saw a heck of a battle. I mean, we saw drafting, very high-speed racing like you would expect to see. But we also saw this. William Byron in the 24 leading the 66 at Timmy Hill. Does the bump and run through 1 and 2 in the closing laps when the final restarts. Here's a closer look as Timmy Hill gets to the rear bumper, moves William Byron up the racetrack, takes the lead, and goes on to win. Now, normally you saw bump and runs on short tracks. Here we go. Here's something about a bump and run I really enjoyed. Me and Rusty Wallace battling it out in the closing laps at Bristol. That's 1997. So you expect this to happen on the short tracks. I may have gotten the better of Rusty one more time in 2002 with another late bump and run. And that brings us to Bristol. We're going to see a lot more of that play out, and I think we might see some virtual rivalries brew between Timmy Hill and William Byron this weekend.
Is Rusty still looking for you?
Yes.
All right, so today, qualifying like you've never seen before, and then 2 heat races which will set the field for today's 150-lap main event. To break it all down for you, our and today Clint's crew chief, Larry McReynolds.
Well, Rusty should have done is what I've been saying for years, and it's the same for virtual Bristol Speedway. Before you go over in that half mile, take your feelings and emotions and leave them out there on the highway, because if you take them inside there, you're probably going to get your feelings hurt. You talked about it, Mike, 2 heat races. Let's take a look at our USA race analysis. 16 drivers per race. We're going to go for 50 laps and a short 27 miles. You're going to love this part. Caution-free, and the finishing order from each heat will determine the starting order of the main event. And, Mike, nobody goes home. Everybody's going to race.
Oh, that's the best part. So our 2 intrepid pit reporters are out and about as usual. We're going to get inside the virtual mind of Michael Waltrip after we hear from Regan Smith.
Mike, we haven't seen a Cinderella story such as the one of Ryan Blaney since probably Bill Murray and Caddyshack, if I'm being perfectly honest. 3 weeks ago, you were an iRacing crew chief, and now here you are racing on Sundays.
Yeah, you know, my talents as a crew chief, I figured I could do more, you know, and I kept telling my driver, Chase Elliott, what to do, and he wouldn't listen. So I was like, well, I'll just go do this myself, you know, and got a rig. My spotter, Josh Williams, let me come over here and borrow his rig, but I don't have a lot of hours on this stuff, but, you know, at the end of the day, still probably going to do well or wreck. One of the 2 are going to happen.
Well, that's good. That's your 2 options right there, 50-50, so that's not bad. What's your advice? I know there's a couple crew chiefs out there racing a lot. Chad Canales is out there. I think Rodney Childers has been racing. What's your advice to them to make it to the Sunday races?
Well, you know, man, learn from experience. You know, I mean, I haven't been crew chief for too long, but honest with you, I thought I did a pretty good job, and it doesn't seem that difficult. So The driving side, you know, that's just second nature. But yeah, I actually raced with Canals a couple weeks ago at Kansas. Something like that, he did pretty good. But a lot of people are swapping over. But yeah, it should be fun today. Bristol will be a pretty tough race. It usually is a pretty entertaining one to watch. I think the fans are going to be in for a pretty good treat today. Along with heat races. We have heat races today too, which will be pretty exciting.
All right, there you go. Top of the pit box, now in the driver's seat. Michael, what do you got for us?
Oh, thanks, Regan. It's so good to be back in action. NASCAR on Fox, we're iRacing, and it's so real. The door-banging finish between Dale Jr. and Denny Hamlin week 1. And then last week, Timmy Hill pushes William Byron out of the way to get the checkered. I love being at the track. I love looking around and seeing the empty grandstands and hearing the silence of pit road. Oh no, I'm at the wrong track again.
You can't make this stuff up. Clint Boyer, you've been practicing this morning. How's that been going?
I guess that's what you can call it, Mike. It's been a little ugly, bud. I'm not going to lie. I put a lot of hours in last night, actually. The boys, I was over there till probably 12:30 last night. Mind you, I told you I got to try to keep this thing away from my house. It will ruin your life if it's too close to the old bedroom. But went over and practiced last night, got some hours, got confident, felt comfortable. But, man, I tell you, dropped the green flag on practice today. Been struggling a little bit.
All right, Boyer, when we typically come to Bristol, things happen really fast at 15 or less second laps. A lot of rivalries have been built here. Some steam gets going up there between the ears. What's it going to be like today? We're going to see a lot of the same in this virtual world also?
I would say if you think things happen fast, just think if you're poor old Rusty Wallace, you know, sitting there watching you dump him out of the way on the last lap. 2 races, not once, but twice.
It worked.
Man,
it worked well the first time. I thought, why not do it again?
That was pretty good work, but I would say you're going to see some of that again today. Extremely challenging racetrack in the real sense, but when you get in this virtual thing, this car is extremely loose up off the corner, which is something you fight in real life there. Loose in, right? But then it's tight in the middle, so you go to work. You know, the old crew chief, old Larry McReynolds, is in your ear going, all right, which one's hurting you the worst? Man, I don't know. We'll fix the center. No, you made me too loose. Put it back, put it back. So a lot of give and take, a lot of balancing, saving your tires and things like that. It's going to be tricky all day long.
All right, well, have fun with it if you can. We'll be along for the ride. Jimmie Johnson ready to race as we get set for the most unique and fastest qualifying session you've ever seen on Fox. Virtual Bristol Motor Speedway set for qualifying, and here's how this works. The qualifying session is 3 minutes. That's all. Everybody goes on the track anytime during those 3 minutes for their 2 laps. However, they only see their own car, Jeff. There is no traffic to contend with.
If only we had this in the real world.
Yeah,
man,
right.
I mean, it's so hard to get yourself into a slot to go make 1 or 2 laps at these kinds of speeds. Like I mentioned, under 15 seconds, these drivers, especially the ones that are going to be at the top, to be able to make a good qualifying lap, hard to do that in just a few minutes. So thankfully, in the iRacing world, we're able to make a clear lap for these guys. So I love it. We're going to see all of them, and we're going to watch our time and scoring. But luckily for these guys, they don't have to worry about getting in anybody's way or wrecking.
Now, with one caveat, and that is drivers have found that by riding the wall, they can improve their lap times. iRacing is monitoring this. They've told the drivers, stay off the outside wall, or your lap may be disallowed.
Yeah, Mike, when I got on that sim rig earlier today to make some laps around Bristol, I couldn't believe how realistic it was. Number one, dropping on, down in the corner, up into the banking. But also, if you just nick the wall slightly with that right side, I could pick up a 10th or 10th and a half. If you rim rode around the top, heck, you could pick up almost a half a second.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. currently on pole from Landon Castle and Alex Bowman. 31 drivers invited, and a change to the format this week. It is all drivers from the NASCAR Cup Series 2019-2020 who have been invited to participate. Obviously couldn't quite handle all of the 80-plus drivers that wanted to be in this race. So Saturday evening on NASCAR.com, drivers from the other NASCAR series get their chance to compete in qualifying heats and a full feature event on Saturday night. So Sunday night, Sunday afternoon here, Cup drivers only.
I love this format, Mike. I love these heat races that we're going to see these guys racing to get their starting position. Kind of reminds me of the duels a little bit in Daytona, but on a short track form. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. There's going to be sparks flying like you just saw right there on Denny Hamlin's number 11. I think that this is one of the most difficult tracks to drive in the real world, and I can tell you from those few minutes I was on that sim rig, it's also very difficult in this iRacing format.
William Byron just went to the top over John Hunter Nemechek, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Landon Castle. As we come down to the end, boy, 3 minutes goes by fast.
Yeah, William Byron putting up a great lap there, Clint, right at the end. We know how fast he is in iRacing. How about you? How'd your qualifying go?
Not any good. I actually spun out struggling. I don't know. I was really confident. I actually got up this morning, took Cash and Presley over to the barn, practiced qualifying for this very moment, and I blew it, spun out. Then I didn't, I don't know, I was trying to reset and didn't understand the rules there. So I messed up is what I'm trying to say. I'm going to be starting at the back, but boys, I'm going to be coming. I'm going to watch them all wreck. That is one thing I will do.
I think plenty of that's coming.
So it's worth pointing out that in the heat race, each driver has two what iRacing calls fast repairs. We've been calling them resets. You can come to a complete stop, come to pit road, get a new car. And you can't carry those two resets over to the feature. For the 150-lap feature, you also have two resets per driver available if needed. I wonder how many resets the wrecker has.
Yeah, Mike, I was going to tell you how many resets I would need. If I were out there racing, I'd need about 10 of them. Jimmie Johnson. How we doing, Jimmy? Good to have you joining us, buddy. How'd qualifying go? How many resets? We're just talking about resets. How many resets you think you're going to need if you could have?
I will take every reset they give me, JG. There is no doubt. I made it through qualifying. My record is still not so good, virtual or reality, with qualifying. So at least there are some things that are still consistent.
Yeah, I was saying earlier, I made some laps. I couldn't believe how difficult this is. And then you see guys like William Byron and some of these guys that have a lot of laps and can put up these crazy numbers and laps. And I know you've been working hard. You've been doing Indy cars as well as NASCAR. So you've been busy on the sim rig.
I have been busy on the two sim rigs. It's been a lot of fun to learn. I've had to learn more about computers and webcams and all this stuff than anything. But it's been a blast, and then trying to manage all that with homeschooling that all the parents know about now. It's been an interesting couple of weeks trying to sort all this out, but certainly a lot of fun.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. Good luck today. We look forward to going along for the ride.
You got it, guys. Thank you.
So qualifying is complete, and the cars are lined up for heat number 1. I've worked a lot of short tracks and never seen cars come to the lineup this quickly. William Byron, Dale Jr., Alex Bowman, Christopher Bell, Parker Kligerman, Chase Elliott will be the first 3 rows. Remember, everybody qualifies. This will determine starting spots for the main event. Matt DiBenedetto was quick in practice. Keep an eye on the 21.
And Joey Logano, who we've not seen run every week, put up some good laps. He's fast at Bristol in the real world also.
Jimmy, Daniel, Ricky, and Kurt have the final 4 spots on the grid for heat number 1. The finish will determine the inside lane for the 150-lap feature. Lights are out on the pace car. We'll go green next time by. Boy, the crowd filed in after qualifying, didn't they?
They sure did, Mike, and they're going to see one heck of a show. This is such an awesome racetrack to watch on iRacing and to participate in. It's not easy to make a pass in these cars, so we talked about that bump and run. We'll have to see if these guys get that aggressive in this heat race. Larry?
I got good news and bad news. You got 2 resets, but there's no caution. While you're getting your new car, you're going to probably be 2 or 3 laps down.
No caution flags. That should be interesting.
Yeah, so we won't have any cautions in these heat races. We will have them in the 150-lap feature, but to keep the program moving, as we see William Byron takes the green and gets out to an early lead.
Bowman on the bottom. Jr. with a run off the top for second place.
And the preferred lane definitely is this middle lane. They kind of run a high lane going into the center of the corner, then diming the corner and come off with the momentum. So that bottom lane right now that Alex Bowman's stuck in, he's got to get up just right there as he does right in front of Parker Kligerman and try to get that momentum going on his side.
Bell, Bowman, Kligerman, the 77 on the inside, and then Blaney in 6th.
And, you know, we're watching right here the 95 Christopher Bell. He won the sprint car race that we did Dirt Night in America last Wednesday. We're going to see him again this coming up Wednesday on those dirt races. But he was so smooth in that sprint car, looking pretty good here at Bristol.
That's right, Wednesday night on FS1 at Knoxville, Iowa. That'll be fun.
There's Jimmie Johnson. We just spoke to him. Running that 12th position. There we go on board. You know, Mike, one of the most focused efforts you'll ever see for a race car driver is running at Bristol in the real race car. But to me, that part hasn't changed. Look at Jimmie Johnson, just how incredibly focused he is right here in this heat race. You can tell, the eyes don't blink. You know, the total focus that it takes just to make laps around here, even in iRacing.
Jimmy hard at work, running laps of 15:05. William Byron out front of Dale Jr. by half a second. Remember, no caution flags, and nobody goes home. This will set the lineup for the inside lane of the start of our feature race. Looks like Kirk's gaining on Jimmy just a bit as they close on Joey Logano. Now let's move up. You're riding with Chase Elliott to the outside of best bud Ryan Blaney.
If you're going to pass, first of all, you're going to have to do it very cleanly in this heat race because you don't want to have to go to that reset. You might be okay in the 150 lap race later, but in this heat race, you're going to have to make sure that you make that pass clean. You see these guys get a run up the hill, get up into the banking, put wheel to it, and then jump back in the throttle and try to get up beside one another. And then once you get side by side, it's going to take a couple laps. Saw William Byron in practice make a pass on Bubba Wallace, and it took him about 3 or 4 laps to make that happen.
William Byron ran 10 iRaces at Bristol this week, winning half of them. Now, all these cars have the same setup, but interestingly, I saw Alex Bowman dragging the track bar adjuster into the corner while the other cars were not.
Well, I think some of it, Mike, just happens to be, there are bumps on this racetrack, so it depends on where your line is, whether they pick up those bumps. It might have something to do with how much speed you carry into the center. Maybe some others go in a little bit easier, don't run as high of a line. So those types of characteristics of iRacing are so incredibly realistic to the real world.
That's incredible. Blaney hard at work on the back of Bowman there. Parker Kligerman looking on from 5th place.
Again, just look at that intense focus on Parker Kligerman. I mean, when you're in these sim rigs and your view is out the windshield, it makes it feel like you're in a real race car. Your palms start getting sweaty and everything. You see Parker working a little bit of a lower line. I don't know if he's hoping that, and there is some tire fall off, guys. There is some tire wear. There could be some fall off where if you save those tires and keep that clean air, it might pay off later in this race.
Joey Logano.
And Joey with a little bit of contact to the outside wall. You can see that right front fender just has a tiny bit of damage. It could, you know, the exit of the corner is one of the trickiest part. You see Joey really fighting the wheel on that exit. As you come off that banking, Jimmie Johnson making a run to the inside of Joey Logano. As you come off that banking, the banking flattens out on the straightaway. If you have any kind of throttle, too much throttle in that car, it will jump sideways on you on the exit.
Well, that is very slight damage on Logano's car. Can't even see it from this particular angle.
On board with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in second position, trying to run down William Byron. You can see how important it is to get that clean air. So I promise you, Dale Jr. is trying to figure out, as we get to the halfway point in this race, will I be able to get up there and make a move on William Byron in the closing laps? William, one of the best from the Cup Series in iRacing. So going to be tough to make that up, but hey, Dale Jr. is very good at pacing himself and saving those tires.
And who did Byron star for in the Xfinity Series before moving to Cup? Junior Motorsports.
That's right. So cool to listen to that throttle, just like the real thing. You see Chase Elliott goes up the hill there in 3 and 4, makes a little bit of contact with the outside wall. So, you know, in qualifying, you were not allowed to touch the wall because it gave you an advantage. Here in this race, there really is no advantage because all you're going to do is you see a little bump, going for the bump and run to Ryan Blaney from Chase Elliott, but it will cause damage to that right side and hurt your performance in these longer races. So they will allow it. iRacing will allow a little bit of contact to that outside wall. Kligerman still working that inside.
Battle for 6th there. Just past halfway.
Chase Elliott, again, pretty heavy contact with the right side there in 1 and 2.
Jeff, look at that shot of Parker Kligerman. What does he have with his sim rig that you and I don't have? Look in the upper right corner. That's an Emmy.
Oh, he sure does.
Yeah, that
was
noticed in Los Angeles and passed on to us.
Very cool. Oh, man.
Wow.
The slide job by Chase Elliott to Ryan Blaney. Oh, here comes McDowell.
Oh, goodbye, Kligerman.
I'm sorry, is that John Hunter Nemechek?
No, it was Michael McDowell.
It
just
was McDowell,
doored Kligerman.
He sure did.
And he's not the only, I guess we're not the only ones jealous of that Emmy. And somebody's been black flagged for bouncing off the wall. That would be Chris Buescher. Excuse me, Ricky Stenhouse. 47 has been black flagged. Kligerman's still at it.
I'm looking for the payback from Blaney to his buddy Chase Elliott, because Chase Elliott definitely, there's Stenhouse on pit road.
Yeah, he's in timeout.
I don't know if Blaney's having an issue now. Oh yeah, heavy into the wall, going back after McDowell.
Oh yeah. Maybe Suarez will loan him his dog. That might help. McDowell's car, kind of the worse for wear for all that.
Make sure if you're going to play payback and wreck somebody in iRacing that you have your dog very close by.
I just hope he has better luck wrecking McDowell than Suarez had last week with Ty Dillon. That didn't work out so good.
The dog cost it. Don't you love a good dog story, Larry?
Absolutely.
Oh boy, that's an ill-handling car Ryan Blaney's dealing with.
Now I think it is important to note that when you do transfer to that main event, and which establishes that inside row from this first heat in your starting position, you do get a fresh race car. So they're not worried about the damage that's in this heat race moving forward. It's really just the damage that occurs in this actual event. Jimmie Johnson now moving up there. He talked about watching some of these guys. We talked to him earlier, talking about some of these guys wrecking and damaging their race car. He's taking advantage of that with a clean number 48 Ally Chevrolet.
15 to go. Clint, what are you seeing here in this first heat race?
Seeing a lot of this 24 car, and I think we're going to see
a
lot
more
of
a spin.
Oh, man, I tell you, what I did see is a lot of guys saving tires and were starting to come up through the field. The 12 was really hard on his tires. Now he's hard on his sheet metal as well, but he was definitely doing a good job, some of those guys, of saving their tires. William Byron, I'm looking at the line that he's running, a little bit lower than the classic line that everybody else has been running around here, so I think there's something to be said about that as well.
What do you think, Clint? You think Junior has something for William here in these closing laps?
No chance.
McDowell's car has most of the sheet metal knocked off it. Not sure if Kligerman will be able to finish that job or not.
So, Clint, this all started when it looked like Chase Elliott did a big slide job on his buddy Ryan Blaney that ended up making contact, putting Ryan in the wall, and then it just seemed like
Yeah.
Oh, heck,
I mean, what was that about? These guys are supposed to be, you know, BFFs here, and they're out slamming each other, knocking each other into the wall. I mean, coming through, buddy.
Well, you know, last week everybody bought sim rigs that didn't have one. Next week they'll all have to get a dog.
Next week, if this stays up much more, Mike, it's going to be a dog house, because that's where I'm going to be living.
All right.
Christopher Bell, 10 to go. Now come to 9 to go, making a move on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Junior gets good drive off from that top lane, though, just like real Bristol, right, Jeff?
Yeah, and there are so many realistic features. I mean, from how you use up the tires, how you rim ride up there against the wall, how you diamond this racetrack to get a run off the exit, how the car gets really loose on the exit under heavy throttle.
Second place at stake here.
Now, how's Christopher Bell going to handle this if they get down to the closing laps? You never want to wreck Dale Earnhardt Jr., but can he use that bumper to maybe move him out of the way to get to that second place?
Well, you're right. That's a good way to go to least popular driver in a hurry.
Tell you what, Christopher, you know, he's really good at Bristol in general, but he's also really good in iRacing. As I mentioned in that sprint car race, just so smooth and clean, winning that race on Wednesday and showing a lot of speed here at Bristol here in this heat race.
William Byron is checked out by 2.6 seconds. The race is for second. Yikes.
You know, William Byron in 4 laps, he will win this heat race, which will put him on the pole for the main event. Think about it. 3 completely different tracks in this Pro Invitational iRacing events, 3 different weeks. He would have started on the front row all 3 weeks.
That's called stinking up the show, Larry.
Yet he has no wins yet. So I think he's looking for that first win. Here's the outside move from Bell. He gets to the outside of Dale Jr.
Boy, that was it. And once he got that outside lane, he is gone. Coming to the white flag, Daniel Suarez just ahead of race leader William Byron in the 24.
And this is something that's going to play out in that 150 lap race later. Lap traffic will be a big factor in whether you win or lose this race. Pretty phenomenal start to the day there for the 24 William Byron.
Now, folks, we've each said night. We don't have it all confused, but it is dark in the studio here, so might as well be. So William Byron in his Hendrick Chevrolet picks up the win. And yeah, virtual crowd applauds. That's a golf clap. That's not a cheer. Come on, we can do better. Christopher Bell, there we go. Dale Jr. third, let's hear it. Alex Bowman, Michael McDowell, Kligerman, Reddick, Logano, Busch, and Blaney. All drivers move on to the 150 lap feature event. And the crowd eagerly awaiting the lineup for qualifier number 2. John Hunter Nemechek, Landon Castle on the front row. Garrett Smithley and last week's runner-up Ryan Preece. Denny Hamlin, the opening round winner from Homestead, and Timmy Hill, last week's winner. Understand Kyle Busch has upped his game. He's been doing a lot of iRacing this week, including Wednesday evening on FS1 with Bubba Wallace. Brad Keselowski's back. Ty Dillon, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson. And the rest of the field. Chris Buescher, Ross Chastain. There's no time trial Clint.
Oh, he's coming forward, Mike. He's coming forward in this race.
And Hall of Famer Bobby Labonte subbing in for Martin Truex. Lights are out on the pace car. Nemechek will lead them to green.
I did like how I saw, and this is really going to play out in the race after this, our main event, 150 lapper, is how much saving your tires did matter. We saw we're about halfway through this race, all of a sudden some cars started coming to the front. So watch for some more of that in this second heat race.
Maybe this series, Jeff, could win us virtual Emmys.
Yeah, I was a little jealous of that Emmy there sitting on the shelf for Parker Kligerman. We got to work on that, Mike.
All right. Nemechek and Castle, then Smithley and Preece, Hamlin and Hill. Neat thing on Denny Hamlin's hood, saluting all the FedEx workers that are out there trying to get packages delivered in these tough times for everybody. We're all staying home. They're out there on the job, and that's appreciated. Here we go. Green flag. Boy, that outside lane took off.
Man, yeah, look at Landon Castle. And Preece. Preece, I tell you what, that guy has impressed me in iRacing. He's shown a lot of speed. Oh, Denny Hamlin tried to make a move to the outside of Garrett Smithley. Heavy contact. He's going to have to probably use a reset here with no caution.
Yep, no caution flags in this. We continue. Each driver has 2 resets he can use during this qualifying heat. Preece, Hill, and Smithley. Smithley picked up a sponsor for iRacing this week, and they are also going to be on his real Cup car at the Brickyard. So kind of nice that commerce continues in this sport, even though we're racing virtually. That's Ryan Preece just ahead of Timmy Hill.
Yeah, great run by Timmy Hill last week at Texas. You know, I really was anxious to see the difference between iRacers when they go from 1.5 miles like Texas, where drafting and different type of car characteristics happen at that racetrack versus this short track. How much carryover is from one track to another, or real world experience at Bristol? You tend to see guys that actually race well in the real world do very well at Bristol. Hey, Jimmie Johnson, tell us about how things went in that first heat race, and what are we going to expect in the 150 lapper?
Man, I was trying to take the philosophy of saving my tires, trying to be smart with things. And then I was working my way up through the field, went for the slide job and got it wrong and collected Matty D. And then as I was trying to gather my stuff up, I wiped out my teammate Chase Elliott. So I will not do that again. I'll try not to do that again, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it looked like you were coming forward. We saw some other guys do some slide jobs. Don't worry, because Chase Elliott did the same thing to Ryan Blaney, and it got him in trouble then. And we saw other guys stack up as well. But we saw you coming up through there, passing some of those guys, saving those tires. So it looks like it was going to work out for you until that slide job.
I think I lost just a bit, JG, but I understand that it's a nice little slide job. But it's going to be fun. I don't know if these guys will get to racing training. The main event when it comes up here soon.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Have some fun.
Got you back now. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry we lost you, but have fun. That was cool to watch.
All right, third place is in jeopardy here. Ryan Preece with Timmy Hill trying to make the move, and Garrett Smithley. Hill looks to the outside. No.
Well, we saw with Christopher Bell, he made that move late on Dale Earnhardt Jr. Getting to the outside, I think Dale Jr. is probably a little generous to Christopher Bell in the closing laps there, so he didn't get wrecked. But, you know, right here you see Preece is running that lower lane. Timmy Hill's trying to get to the outside, but now he's going to go to the inside.
Jeff, those track bar adjuster mounts seem to be dragging when the car's in the low lane, not so much up in the high groove.
Yeah, and, you know, I have to talk to the folks from iRacing to see exactly how where they set all the heights on these cars to see exactly what is sparky. It could be the jack post as well, where you know, some of those heights just you know, get picked up when the cars load. You can see those sparks out of the 37. Ryan Preece even coming off the corner there. So I mean, we love sparks, right? But I think it just shows you how realistic the compression of the banking is, not only on the suspension but on the tires.
Now, all 4 of last week's top finishers, plus opening round winner Denny Hamlin, are in this qualifying heat. Understand we have William Byron on the line, who just drove to, William, what looked like a pretty much of a cakewalk first heat win. Congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate it. We had a good qualifying lap there. the track temp is a little different for the heat race, so I tried to save my tires as best I could, and then really just once we got to the back of the field there, just try to ride a little bit. So yeah, I feel good. It's just going to be a pit strategy race and trying to keep track position, try to race. It looks like John Hunter's pretty fast and Ryan Preece, so those are the guys I'm looking out for.
Yeah, William, I was going to ask you that question of who you're watching in this heat race, who you saw in yours that you're going to have to battle the most. But also you mentioned lap traffic. We saw you come up on it. How much of a factor is that going to play out in this 150 lapper?
Yeah, it's going to be tough because I feel like, with having them twice the field, I'm going to have to navigate my way through it, but I'm worried about, guys coming off the wall, getting tight late off the corner, which is similar to what we see every Sunday. So, I'm going to have to make sure I time my runs to get position on somebody and not worry about my right rear and getting that hooked around.
All right, man, appreciate it. Good luck. You're looking good.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, here's Clint Boyer running in the 12th spot. Clint, you had a try at Bobby Labonte, had a swipe at him anyway there.
Yeah, I was trying to stay off of him, and then I tried to stay off of him and got hit. But, man, it's challenging. It's hard. Now I'm tore up.
Yeah,
can't turn. I'm frustrated. Is this Bristol?
Exactly. Clint, I was going to ask you, we saw you make that heavy contact. So how much has that actually changed the car's handling?
Well, the next time I catch the old man, he's going for a ride. Because it is Bristol, right?
Yeah,
Here it comes. Are you ready?
Yeah, it looked like Bobby, he kind of was on the bottom and lost some momentum, and you just barely clipped him as you guys came off of turn 2. If you could have cleared him right there, you'd have been smooth sailing.
Yeah, he's definitely really tight, but now I am too. I got a lot of damage. Boy, we're just halfway. It just said, this is not good. I'm going to be going backwards with all this damage. Yeah, man, it's Bristol. Frustrations, everything that we know of this place in real life is definitely alive and well today on this virtual race. But, man, just same thing. In this world, you can't dig yourself a hole. It's extremely hard to dig yourself out of it. Not having cautions and things like this, it really, not going to lie, got Smithfield on the car. Kind of wishing I just had a bacon sandwich right now and a cup of coffee and go on to the feature, because this heat race is done for me.
All right, plug noted. Have as much fun as you can. We'll check in with you later.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed with Boyer's driving skills right there while we're talking to him.
He keeps working the bottom there on Bobby Labonte.
Oh,
no!
He said he was going to do it.
Around goes Labonte, and there goes Boyer. No cautions in the heat race, 22 to go. Back at it.
Oh, might have a tire down. He about lost it off of 2.
Yep, they might both be headed for the reset button. Kyle Busch rolling up on Garrett Smithley there. This is for 5th place.
And I talked about this in the real world, guys that are very fast at Bristol, Kyle Busch being one of them. And he's looking pretty good here in the iRacing too. So here's what just happened between Clint Boyer and Bobby Labonte. Yeah, Bobby gets into the wall on the outside, had to check up. Boyer, nowhere to go, buddy.
That was not pretty. Hey, Kyle Busch had quite a week. Wednesday night, he competed in iRacing on FS1 on the dirt at Charlotte Motor Speedway. He and Kyle Larson had a busy night. He's run a lot of laps this week to get in shape for this one. Trying to work the inside on Smithley with 18 to go. And here's Preece up high. He's going to try to use Boyer as a pick and a right. That worked out better than he could have hoped.
Yeah, not so good for Landon Castle, unfortunately. Nope. Boyer just trying to hang on, get to the end of this thing, and try not to take out Ryan Preece in 2nd place.
Well, it was a nice move by Preece to try to use Boyer as a pick. Boyer ended up being not only the pick, but the knife, fork, and spoon to Landon Castle. Turned him around.
Now Boyer's just getting greedy, trying to use up that wall and get some more airtime for his sponsor.
15 to go. So the 14 of Boyer is a lap down. Here's Kyle Busch on the inside. That's the closest he's gotten to Smithley to try to take over 4th spot.
Come on, Boyer. Take it easy on these boys.
That was Smithley going up the hill.
Hey, Clint, when you come off the racetrack, I want you to find the pace car and hit it. That'd be the only thing you hadn't hit during this race.
Oh, Harry Hogg, Days of Thunder. Wonderful. Kyle Larson picked up a few spots, then there goes Boyer again. Boys, the wheels have come off. The good news is, Clint, you still qualify for the main event.
Yeah, my give a damn broke.
Sorry to hear that. John Hunter Nemechek about to lap Chris Buescher here. Buescher, last car on the lead lap in 14th.
Boy, just another great run for pole sitter. The heat race saw in the first one in the first heat with William Byron, now with John Hunter Nemechek out to over a second lead. Here's on board with Kyle Larson. Kyle's done a nice job coming up through the field here and saving those tires like we heard Jimmie Johnson talk about. And another guy, I'm telling you, he is great at Bristol in the real world, and it's paying off here in the iRacing world.
He ran a lot of laps, both these drivers ran a lot of laps Wednesday night on FS1, playing in the dirt.
I'm excited.
Having a good time.
Next week, next Wednesday, go to Knoxville, Iowa with some sprint cars and late models.
Home of the great Knoxville Nationals.
I think Kyle Busch is going to get to the outside of Timmy Hill. He keeps working on, and you see the different driving styles. The guys that run Bristol really well normally carry a lot of speed on the entry, where you see Timmy Hill to run that bottom groove. He's having to check up a little bit earlier into the corner.
Now we see Bobby Labonte behind them, but that light blue car of Labonte is 7 laps down. It's been reset, brand new tires and all. So it'll should come up on these cars pretty quickly. 6 to go.
What a great battle going on here. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Larson putting the pressure on the 18 of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch putting the pressure, trying to make that outside lane work for Timmy Hill. He gets these big runs, but just not able to make anything happen. Timmy Hill closes the door as they come up on the straightaway.
Kyle's got to run if he has room.
He might be able to get there this time. He's going to get a little nudge from the 42 of Larson there.
Whoa.
Yeah, and Kyle Busch is there. Now with this lap car ahead, play a factor. 4 to come to 3 to go. The 17 of Buescher. Yep, there goes Kyle Busch to the outside and going to bring Kyle Larson right along with him.
In NASCAR's 3 National Series, Kyle Busch has 22 real Bristol wins.
Here's the lead. It's closed up. I don't know if John Hunter Nemechek's used up the tires, but Priest has closed up on him in a hurry here, coming to the white flag.
Lap and a half to go. Nemechek on the preferred line, but boy, his 38 is sliding around, and Priest by a fender. Ahead, behind, here they come to the line. Hello, scoring, timing and scoring,
Nemechek.
hello.
I think Nemechek with the win over only by about an inch.
That was close.
That was. I was expecting a little bit more contact out of Priest.
Statman says margin of victory, 0.006 seconds. John Hunter Nemechek, the winner over Ryan Priest. Here's how it looked at the line.
Very cool. Great racing, great finish there in that heat race.
Well, Priest timed it all but perfectly, coming up just inches short of the win in qualifying round number 2. The 150-lap iRacing feature coming up.
During this time in our country,
the NASCAR community wants to salute
and thank all the medical professionals,
doctors, scientists, nurses, first responders, everybody on the front lines.
We are with you.
We are with you.
We're here with you.
And we'll continue to do our part in staying home and social distancing. So that we can all beat this.
So we can all beat this.
So that we can all beat this together.
Together. Together.
Together.
Together. Together.
The NASCAR Foundation is working with the American Red Cross to help families in the Bristol area impacted by the pandemic. You can help by making a donation at NASCARFoundation.org/response. And we also want to thank Food City and their associates for serving their communities, and to all the other frontline workers and first responders across the nation. We appreciate you and your efforts. Speaking of effort, how about John Hunter Nemechek, who drove away in qualifying round number 2? That went picture perfect.
Yeah, it definitely did. Denny about took us out there at the end, but our Ford Mustang was pretty good. Watched the first heat with Byron and learned some things from him from riding on board, and been practicing this week, and have Kane Cook driver coach me a little bit, and my interior guy from Front Row Motorsports, and fiance is here being the crew chief, so we have a whole group affair going on right now.
Yeah, John Hunter, tell us about those closing laps. Looks like you had a pretty good lead, and then all of a sudden we come on board, and it's, man, you guys are just nose to nose, side by side, and 6,000th of a second difference at the line. So tell us about those closing laps, how difficult that was, and what got you guys in that position.
Yeah, the last few laps was pretty difficult. Denny bounced off the wall there in front of me and kind of turned down, and I hit him in the left front with my right front, and actually got tight after that. I couldn't quite run the line that I was running. I was struggling to continue to have speed, and lost quite a bit of time to Priest there when that deal happened. So I moved up to the top. It's really hard to pass here on the bottom, so I figured I would rim ride, try and stay up there, stay off the wall, and make the most out of the situation. And Priest ran me clean. He could have doored me and taken me out of contention and won the heat. But it was a really good race down to the end, and I'm just glad that we came home with the heat win.
All right, well, great job. Good luck in this next one.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right, well done, John Hunter. The last great Coliseum was built by Bruton Smith after he bought Bristol Motor Speedway. The Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame will induct Bruton during a ceremony in Nashville scheduled for June 27th. 150 laps of NASCAR Cup feature racing from Bristol coming right up. Welcome back to the world's fastest virtual half mile and the NASCAR Pro Invitational Series on iRacing at Bristol Motor Speedway. You have a chance to win cash during today's iRace. Download the Fox Bet Super 6 app. Correctly pick how 6 drivers will finish, and you could win up to $5,000. Free to play.
Yeah, Mike, if you want a little help from our very own Regan Smith, here's his top 6 rankings. Look at that. Dale Earnhardt Jr. first, Timmy Hill second, Garrett Smithley third, Kligerman, Byron, Denny Hamlin. That's a pretty good top 6, I believe. I think that's a safe bet, as good as you're going to get.
Yeah, we'll see if our winner comes out of Regan's picks. We're going to go visit with one of our favorite couples and Bristol Motor Speedway's all-time Cup winner. Let's go to Franklin, Tennessee for today's invocation.
Before I pray, Stevie's going to read a verse from the Bible.
This is from Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. For the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go.
Let's bow our heads and pray. Lord, you alone are worthy of our honor, our glory, and our praise. Lord, with you we can weather every storm, including the virus that's affecting our whole world. Lord, heal those that are sick and protect those that are not. Give our leaders incredible wisdom, Lord. Strengthen your church. Calm our fears. Give us hope, give us joy, and give us peace as we continue, Lord, to trust in you. Amen.
Early on in this struggle, Rita Wilson and Tom Hanks were among the first Americans to contract the coronavirus and to beat it. We're going to go to Los Angeles thanks to videographer Truman Hanks, their youngest son, as Rita Wilson delivers our national anthem.
Proudly we hailed at the twilight.
broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
We are ready to race in Thunder Valley, Tennessee. The stars of the NASCAR Cup Series, 150 laps on Fox. "30 years ago, Michael Waltrip had what was truly a death-defying crash in Turn 2 at Bristol Motor Speedway. Folks, this was every bit as bad as it looked. But when they peeled away the sheet metal, a dazed young Michael Waltrip climbed out and walked away. There was a gate there, and the abutment at the end of that gate is what did all the damage to that car. And miraculously, Michael emerged from that unscathed. It's all concrete there now in Turn 2, thank goodness. Well, it's WrestleMania weekend, and we have a couple of special guests from the WWE. Let's go to WrestleMania for today's command.
I'm Gronk, and this is my best friend, WWE superstar Mojo Rawley.
That's right, Playboy, and we're getting hyped for the second night of WrestleMania tonight on the WWE Network.
But as we wait for that to start, we are focused on this race.
Drivers, start your engine! Let's go, baby! Yeah!
Crank over here, ready here. All right, go ahead.
Well, Larry Mack, that's a tough act to follow, but how about setting us up for the day?
Well, it's hard to believe. The first weekend of April, and we finally are short track racing. So let's take a look at our USAA race analysis. We're going to go for 150 laps, 80 miles. The fuel window, you can do it almost without stopping, 140 to 150 laps. Tire window, 100 to 110 laps. Pit road speed, 35 miles per hour. A fixed setup. Every driver, every team has the same, a common setup determined by the iRacing officials. And Mike, you know the deal. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time.
Now, Larry Mack, I saw that 100-plus laps on the tires, but boy, after what we saw in just a 50-lap heat race and some guys having to save tires, I got to believe there's going to be a lot of fall-off if you run 100 or more laps on those tires.
And folks, we're not here to find the best iRacer in NASCAR. We're here to have some fun on a Sunday afternoon, and here's who's going to provide it. William Byron and John Hunter Nemechek, our two heat winners, are on the front row. Christopher Bell, Ryan Preece, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and Kyle Busch, your first three rows. Alex Bowman, Kyle Larson, McDowell and Timmy Hill, last week's winner, Kligerman and Castle. Everybody transfers from the qualifying heats. Riddick and Smithley, Logano, Wallace, Busch, and Dillon. Back through 18th. Ryan Blaney out of the crew chief's box and into the driver's seat there in row 10 with Ross Chastain.
Great to see Brad Keselowski having some fun with us on iRacing this weekend.
Daniel Suarez and his dog. Jimmie Johnson, Denny Hamlin, who won the opening round at Miami. Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, both got knocked around a bit in their qualifying heat. Ricky Stenhouse got part. Clint Boyer, well, was Clint Boyer and Eric Jones.
All right, Jimmy, you're getting ready to go green here. Bristol, what, you going to be starting a little bit further back in the field. What's the plan?
Man, get to the front and have some fun. I'm wishing that we were in Bristol live and in person, but just thankful for everybody making this happen. We can put on a show for the fans, have a little fun for ourselves. And, you know, the crashing here hurts way less than it does in real life.
All right, good luck. Here we go.
Thanks.
Good luck.
Lights are out on the pace truck. 32 drivers, 150 laps is the distance. Pit stops, tire wear will certainly come into play, and pit stop strategy could well decide this.
And keep an eye on that outside lane. It's been the preferred lane other than the pole sitter, but on these opening laps, you can really get position.
Green flag, and William Byron jumps to the outside quickly.
Oh, you see right there, Priest. Oh, and he's going to take out Kyle Busch with him. Busch continues on, but Priest, heavy damage. Caution.
He couldn't save it. And caution is out.
Well, and that's exactly what I was talking about, Mike, where you're gonna fight really hard to get to the outside of somebody because that's the preferred line. You carry that momentum off the corner, and that's what Priest was trying to do. And we saw, I believe it was Christopher Bell maybe moving up the racetrack, and when he did, Priest was made a little bobble and got into the wall and started all that.
Now we remind you that each driver has 2 resets if necessary. iRacing calls it a fast repair. You come to pit road, come to a complete stop, and poof, you got a brand new car.
Yeah, and that was unfortunate for Priest because he's finished second in his last 2 races, second in the heat race, second last week at Texas. So, you know, I think he was looking for an opportunity to better that one position this weekend here at Bristol.
According to scoring, he has stayed on the racetrack in 25th. And I think Clint Boyer may have dodged one there.
Did you see that start of the race, Jeff? I mean, I passed like 12 cars. First corner. That's how fast I am.
Well done, man. We knew you've been waiting for this opportunity in the 150 lapper. You didn't want to use up all your good luck and skills in the heat race.
I tell you what, the wreck was so far ahead of me, I don't even know what happened. So you might have to fill me in later.
All right, scoring has you 27th, Clint.
Passing cars left and right.
Yep, everybody's still on the lead lap.
And you got, are you in the inside lane or outside lane? If you're 27th, you might be in that inside lane. It looks like that's a little treacherous in the opening laps.
Chase Elliott. Look at Chase Elliott. He's all tore up. Austin in front of me. See, he's tore up. These boys are in trouble. First corner of the first lap, the first opportunity, and they're already using resets. Big trouble.
So Chris Buescher has made a pit stop. So has Ross Chastain, Joey Logano, and Bubba Wallace under this caution. Up front, it's Byron, Nemechek, and Bell. And Bowman, Larson, and Kyle Busch.
Yeah, I think Kyle Busch got pretty fortunate right there. Yeah, he lost some positions, but I think he had minimal damage. Those guys that were on pit road all had heavy damage that they had to come in and repair.
Kyle has 8 Cup wins at Bristol, including 3 of the last 5. And there he sits in 6th place behind Kyle Larson. Parker Kligerman currently 11th.
I love all the different settings and rigs. We talked about Parker Kligerman having his AMI up there on the shelf, but you know, finding a space and a room for your rig, or whether it's something you just mount that steering wheel to a desk, that's what's so cool to me about this type of an event, is seeing guys in their home or wherever their location is coming from.
All right, first caution on lap 2, contact between Christopher Bell and Ryan Preece. Lights are out on the pace truck, and it turns left. Here we go.
Keep an eye on this battle. 42 of Larson, 88 of Bowman on the outside. And now here comes the 18 of Kyle Busch. Larson's really wanting to get up in that outside lane. There he goes, going into turn 1.
Busch in 6th, Hill in 7th, Earnhardt 8th.
So now it's all about how much of that right front tire, how much of that right rear tire are you using on the exit, how much of the right front are you using in the center of the corner, because there is a piece of this strategy that's going to play out of when you come and get tires and how much long run speed your car is going to have.
Best thing about that, Jeff, is tires are free and you can have as many sets as you want.
You see, as we were on board there with Kyle Busch, a little bit of damage in that right front fender from that contact with Priest, the opening lap of this race. Looks like his splitter might be knocked up a little bit there too. So far, so good. Doesn't seem to be holding them back as far as performance. Oh, caution.
Second caution, and
oh,
Clint.
no, Boyer.
What happened?
I got bubbled.
Well, there's that.
Man, this is worse than real life. These guys forget it's a 150 lap race. Come on, Bubba! Stupid thing.
Words fail me.
Let's go back and take a look at this. You see Boyer running the bottom, comes up. Boyer, I don't know, you might want to watch the replay because it looked to me like you came up on Bubba.
You got to rewind. That was on purpose. We were already wrecked.
Just like in the real world, we didn't go back quite far enough on that replay.
Yeah, I was already tore up and destroyed, so that was payback. That's what you can get away with on this thing versus real. Look at poor Denny.
Yeah, Denny's pretty tore up.
Oh my gosh, look at, I'll just give you play-by-play. Look at poor
everybody.
Bobby Labonte.
Bobby, he's tore up. I think my guy's telling me to pit here. Oh, I got to pit. I got to pass Bobby. You got to remember, I got you guys in one ear, race directors in the other. I wish I had Bubba on my microphone.
So do we.
Past the 48.
You only need one guy in your ear. Could you please come to pit road and get Ford tires? I am back on the pit box for the first time in 20 years. Help me help you.
All I know, Larry, is you're already passing cars.
Yeah, but we're under caution.
Clint, Clint, you're the wave around.
Oh, he's the wave around. He's going to get a lap back.
Pass them all. There you go. You're the lucky dog. Well done.
This is a wreck fest. My gosh.
So we're told that Bubba rage quitted on you.
He should.
He turned his computer
off. I can't
off.
wait, man. My phone's probably blown. I hope it is. I can't wait to give him an earful. I think he already used both of his resets is why.
Well, if we got the free pass, we definitely want to come get 4 fresh tires, no question.
I love it. No matter what, the crew chief's still going to be on the box calling him to
he's
pit road doing his job.
My frustration set in. Man, I need a beer really bad right now.
So, Clint, you'll be the last car on the lead lap, 29th, when we go back to green.
I don't even know that matters anymore, Mike.
Well, but you're still on the lead lap.
Is there like a reset for the whole race?
Well, as Larry says, tires are free. Might as well get a set.
And you can fix some of that damage maybe while you're there, too.
Joey Logano.
It could be worse, Boyer.
Now, Joey is a lap down.
Joey's a lap down behind you with coming off pit road with damage.
I think the pace car is actually in front of me. That's how bad I'm doing right now.
Oh. All right, getting ready for the restart. I think the track crew's just about done cleaning up from this wreck. Time now for today's Goodyear driver profile. Oh, it's Kyle Busch. 22 combined wins in NASCAR's top 3 series here, including 8 Cup wins and 3 of the last 5 Cup races. Of course, all those wins coming on Goodyear tires. Goodyear more driven. 16 complete, 2 caution flags. And we're back under green. I think that was Suarez just pulling off pit road at the end of the caution. And we got Hamlin limping down around the inside, another car with him. Byron out front, Nemechek, Bell, Bowman all single file. Larson and Busch going at it again.
Yeah, Larson works so hard to try to make some of those passes happen on that inside lane, but just not working for him. He might be able to get, oh, we got caution again.
Lap 18, third caution flag. Happened out of our camera view. So we'll have a look at replays and report when we come back. William Byron has led every lap so far. Welcome back to Bristol. Watch the 48 here of Jimmie Johnson.
Yeah, and the one of Kurt Busch to his outside. Boy, hard to tell, Mike. Just really close racing. The one was there that looked like Jimmie was trying to give him room, but then they touched and turned Jimmie into the outside wall. And then the pace truck drives right through you.
Another look at it. Jimmie, tough day for our in-race reporters. What happened there?
I've just fired my virtual spotter. I have the TJ Majors spotter pack as one of the options, and that's twice now he's cleared me, and I haven't been cleared. So everybody says TJ is so good, but this virtual version of him is cost me twice.
All right, Jimmie, what's that do for the rest of your race, man? We're seeing a lot of cautions, a lot of heavy damage here early on. Look like you're having a pretty good race so far until then.
Yeah, just trying to stay clean. I mean, we're all trying to do it, but it's just difficult to do so in the game. But the guy with the straightest car, I think, is going to be up front, and we're ready to get to the end of this thing.
All right, man. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Jimmie's in 20th, still on the lead lap. Denny Hamlin got the free pass, so 26 cars will restart on the lead lap. Suarez, Blaney, and Labonte are each 1 lap down. Logano is 2 down. Then Jones and Wallace. NASCAR Race Hub is back Monday through Thursday evening, 6 p.m. Eastern Time on FS1. As William Byron and John Hunter Nemechek, Chevy and Ford will bring them back to green with the Toyota of Christopher Bell in 3rd. How about a Sunday Fox NASCAR restart? Crank it up.
Absolutely. The more crank it ups we can do, happier I am. Love it, especially here at Bristol.
Kyle Busch all over Alex Bowman as they battle for 5th place or 4th place.
And he makes that slide job into turn 3 on Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman says, hey, be careful. As Busch slides up in front of the 88, he said, I'll remember that later. Be ready for me when I'm coming.
Larry Mack, what about fuel mileage? What about tire wear here under green?
Yeah, Mike, we talked about that at the top of the show. Fuel-wise, especially with all these cautions, you would not have to stop. What I'm monitoring right now is the fall-off, and we've not had a lot of fall-off yet, but we've only run about 13 or 14 green flag laps. I think if we get somewhere up there in the 40 to 50 lap range, and here's a caution right here, so this could create some interesting strategy, but we're just not seeing the fall off that we saw in the heat races, but we're having a lot of cautions.
So would you want tires now or would you want to wait?
I believe I would wait. I believe I would wait. This is still awfully early. I want to make this, Mike. Track position is going to be king. I probably want to try to figure it out how I can just make one trip to pit road.
Thanks, Larry. Chase Elliott's the reason for this caution flag.
Yeah, and that was the longest green flag stretch we've actually run in this race. So I'm with Larry. I mean, I don't think any of these leaders are going to come down pit road, but maybe some of those guys later on are further down the field will come on pit road and get some fresh tires. Just mix it up. Here's 13 of Ty Dillon, the 9 of Chase Elliott. Oh man, you see Chase gets a big run off of that corner down the bottom, and the 13 gets into the outside wall. 9 cars upside down in turn 3.
Wow, he got double Dillon. So we'll take a minute and clean that one up and be right back to Bristol. Fox Sports, actively working to help those affected by the COVID-19 health crisis, is proud to support Feeding America's commitment to serving communities and individuals facing hunger across America. For more information on how you can help, visit feedingamerica.org. 37 laps complete. Joey Logano hard at work. Joey, this has not been an easy first 40 laps for you, has it?
No, I've hit everything but the lottery here. No clue what I'm doing. They keep crashing. Yeah. It's like they get going and then boom, they crash and I can't stop in time and I don't know what's going on.
Well, don't worry. Boyer's hit everything but the pace car. So, you know, this has been a pretty wild and crazy race. Hey, you are so good at Bristol. Does any of that carry over here in the iRacing world?
Yeah, this is a lot different than the real world is what I figured out. You know, I tried practicing a little bit, and I'm a lot better, believe it or not, than what I was last night, but I'm still crashing like crazy out here.
All right, we're going green. Good luck.
It's fun, and it's cool to get Auto Trader out there.
All right, have fun. Ready to go back to green. Byron, Nemechek, Bell, and Busch. 25 cars on the lead lap. Ride with Joey Logano at the back of the field for this restart. And we're back under green. See what Kyle Busch can do this time from the outside lane.
Yeah, and you saw the 95 of Bell. He tried to make a move on John Hunter Nemechek. Didn't work out, so he jumps up in front of Kyle Busch to maintain that third position. Mike, do you remember the days where it was 500 laps at Bristol, a single lane around the bottom, and it was about attrition? You know, we saw where it would take about half of the race to get down to about half the field of cars still left before these cautions start happening. This is what it's reminding me of.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. Of course, back then we had attrition. You know, cars blew up, things broke. There were a few caution flags, but mostly there were a lot of tired race cars and tired drivers.
Oh, contact.
Oh no, Timmy Hill sends Kyle Larson around. Dale Jr. threads the needle and scoots right through.
And there's the caution. Yeah, you saw where the 42 of Larson was trying to get to the outside of Timmy Hill. They come off of turn 2, and the right front of Timmy Hill made contact with the left rear of Kyle Larson, sends him around, and then he collected Timmy Hill and a bunch of others.
William Byron's led every lap so far. Nemechek right with him. Bell's had some work to do to get up to the third spot. Kyle Busch wasn't able to close him off for third on the outside. Here's the replay.
So this is down the front straightaway. They go into turn 1. You see Larson on the outside in the 42. Timmy Hill on the inside. You see Larson, he definitely made a tighter exit. And I think Timmy Hill expected him to have a little bit more room. He comes up, Larson comes down, they make contact.
Fifth caution flag of the day. You sure when this is over, everybody will be anxious to get back to the real Bristol? Oh, I will.
Oh, man, I certainly will. I'm always looking forward to this racetrack. It was fun as a commentator, as a competitor, and a lot of fun as a commentator also.
There goes Suarez. He is the free pass car on this caution, so that'll put Daniel back on the lead lap. Landon Castle's in 18th. Landel right in the midfield. Nice decorating job this week, by the way. How's it going?
I did that for you, Mike.
Oh.
I'm doing great. Yeah, I did that for you. It's dressed up a little bit better for my sponsor, Blue Emu. But, you know, we've called this as a race of survival today and going to need to keep it in one piece. I really thought we had a shot at a front row starting spot in that heat race. I was in a good place, but now we're going to have to claw our way back.
Yeah, well, Boyer said that he got bubbaed in this race. I think you got Boyered in the heat race.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what he was doing. I was trying to give him lots of room, but sometimes it's really hard to tell how much room you're giving him. And, you know, I hate that happened. I was really saving my tires and was catching the leader at that point, but that's behind me. And now I've used up one reset and going to try to get some track position back.
All right, man. Well, thanks for talking to us. Looking good there in the basement, the virtual basement now, and have fun.
Yeah, and it's not a green screen. It's real. It's
That's great.
It's a real space.
Well done. Landon Castle running in 18th. WrestleMania tonight on pay-per-view, 7 Eastern time. It's the big one. You can buy the telecast on foxsports.com/WrestleMania. Night number 2. You'll want to be tuned in. And don't forget the kickoff show here on FS1 at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Lights are out on the pace car. We're going to go green after this 5th caution flag of the day. You hear about drivers using up their resets. Chase Elliott used one. You heard Landon Castle. Whoa, William Byron jumps right on it as soon as that pace truck gets out of the way and scoots to an easy lead. Now it's Bowman caught down on the inside with DiBenedetto.
Yeah, Mike, I would think as these tires start to wear and heat up and build air pressure, just like in the real world, that outside lane is going to prevail. So these guys that are starting in the inside lane, like Alex Bowman in the 88, have to get to that outside lane as quick as possible. Oh, and he tries to get up in the outside lane and gets turned around. Caution out for Alex Bowman.
And Bowman collects Kurt Busch. As that one finishes up, 6th yellow flag comes quickly here at lap 51. Now there is no restart zone in iRacing. The rule as it's applied is as soon as that pace car, or in this case pace truck, is out of the way, the leader can take off, and that's just what William Byron has done each time.
Yeah, and that's why the leader has such a big advantage in iRacing, because we've seen in the past where a leader would almost take the outside lane in the real world because that outside lane is so important to carry the momentum off the corner. But in iRacing, that guy on the inside, as soon as that pace truck pulls off, they can take off, and we've seen the leader get the advantage each time.
Hey, Boyer, I need you to stay out. I'm a little bit busy right now.
Are you kidding me? Larry, what? Are you kidding me?
Look, I know tires are free, but I think we've already put 8 sets and 50 laps on you.
I've already let him go. Just keep going. If you get a chance, I would take ice cream. A cold beer would be really, really good. I mean, Sunday afternoon, cold beer, I could definitely take one of those. But I'm telling you, new strategy. Let them all go. Let them all wreck. I'm going to win this race by everybody, actually by virtue of default.
You got nice, fresh tires. Track position will be king. I'll be back to you next time.
Thanks for nothing.
Larry, how many times have you seen Days of Thunder?
Many, many.
I can tell.
He might have been in it.
There is that chance.
And I've noticed none of those ice cream bars have been passed down to this section of the
You're
studios.
right. If we were at the real Bristol Motor Speedway, we'd be right next to Bruton Smith's suite, and there would be jumbo shrimp, which is it's an oxymoron. Shrimp the size of your fist, and Dove bars.
You become Boyer's crew chief, you'll be wanting a lot more than ice cream.
This is true. We have 26 cars on the lead lap. Ross Chastain, the first car, 1 lap down. I believe it was Tyler Reddick who just got the free pass to get back on the lead lap with this 6th caution flag of the day. Russell, what's the record for cautions at Bristol? It's like umpteen or so?
It's a lot, even in the real world. But we are closing in on it.
And we're closing in on halfway, about 20 laps from now. Wednesday night, we're going dirt racing at Knoxville, Iowa, home of the Sprint Car Hall of Fame and the Knoxville Nationals. All about the dirt. Wednesday night iRacing on FS1. That'll be fun.
Oh, man, I had such a blast seeing these sprint cars and late models on dirt and iRacing. It's incredibly realistic. Slide jobs. We saw some big flips. And Knoxville Raceway is one of the premier tracks. That should be a fantastic show, and looking forward to being part of it again with Clint.
All right, the record for cautions in a cup race at Bristol is 20. We are not going for the record today.
No.
But we are ready for the restart. Now watch the 95 of Christopher Bell. See if he can jump up quickly into that outside lane.
Riding on board Landon Cass on this restart.
He's up to 12th. Hear those tires chatter just a bit.
Incredible focus. Oh, as one car goes to the bottom, the 34 there, Michael McDowell almost loses control. I mean, when I go on board here, as we are with Landon Castle, this looks and feels like the real thing. I mean, that's exactly the way, if I was out there, I'd be driving, the amount of steering input, throttle input, the line I'd be running.
Here's McDowell to his inside again, makes the pass.
Well, and I think Landon's playing a smart race here. You know, he's already used up 1 reset in this race, as he mentioned. See, there's a 21 at Benedetto making an aggressive move. And I think he's just trying not to do anything aggressive because he knows that there's been a lot of crashes, a lot of cautions.
Jimmie Johnson makes the pass on to Benedetto, and Jimmie moves up to 13th. At 3rd place, Kyle Busch going to work on Cup rookie John Hunter Nemechek.
He's on board with Kyle Busch, putting the pressure to John Hunter Nemechek. Don't look in your mirror now, John Hunter. One of the best there's ever been around this half-mile racetrack. Boy, that is so cool. You can hear the car hitting the racetrack, seeing the sparks flying, just like the real thing.
And Jeff, you hear just that little bit of tire squeal from the onboard, which I guess is, since you don't have the butt dyno, you don't have the G-forces, that's got to be your indication that you're using up those tires.
Yeah, when I got in the sim rig earlier before we started this broadcast today, I made some laps, and that sound was valuable to me. Not only hearing the RPM, but hearing that tire, because you know when it's starting to slide. I felt it more with the right front as you slid the front than I did the rears. Usually when you start to slide the rears, it's almost too late.
Riding with Christopher Bell in 4th. And look at 9th place on the leaderboard. Ryan Preece, after being part of that lap 2 incident, is back up into the top 10. There's Preece just ahead of Denny Hamlin and Michael McDowell.
And he still has a lot of damage, even though he's in that 9th position, trying not to use another one of those resets.
You know, looking at Denny Hamlin, that 11 car, of course, he won a couple of weeks at Homestead Miami Speedway. We talked about feel. Denny Hamlin runs this race in his sim machine barefooted. He said he felt like he can react better to the pedals. He said, in fact, If it was not for heat and the environment inside of his regular race car, he would drive his race car barefooted.
And a lot of these guys have different setups as far as we've shown some of it with even Timmy Hill, our winner last week. He has a steering wheel that's just mounted to a desk and a set of pedals underneath there. We have some like Denny Hamlin that has this motion rig that's almost like the real thing, or a real simulator that some of these manufacturers use to test on. But also in the braking category, this is one of the first places where we've really used heavy braking, and some drivers have a setup that almost feels and looks exactly like the real thing.
Look at these two. Why do I feel like I'm at Islip, New York for Larry Mendelson's World Championship Demolition Derby? As caution comes out for the 7th time.
It reminds me, Mike, of going all the way back to Dale Earnhardt Sr. when the front end was ripped off the car and he was one of the fastest cars out there on the track.
What was that? Kyle Larson just pounded the back of Daniel Suarez's car and turned him around under caution.
I love it. Frustration kicks in even in the virtual world, just like it does in the real world here at Bristol.
Well, let's go back to what caused the caution.
You see Kyle already had a lot of damage to his car coming off of turn 2.
Oh,
I think
why.
this is payback from something that must have happened earlier in this race.
Oh, it's not over yet.
I don't think this is over yet.
No. This, oof.
It's like, you ruined my day, let me ruin your day.
Yeah.
Oh,
and that was the one we saw.
No. I don't know if this is continuing.
It's so Larson is a lap down.
And I think a lot of our leaders, I do think a lot of our leaders have gone to pit road.
Jeff, they almost had to, because they had almost 40 green flag laps, but I think it's put them in a little bit of a box, because we're going to be just past halfway when we go back racing, and we got a lot of drivers that pitted the last caution that obviously stayed out. So this is going to be interesting to watch.
Yes, it is, Larry. This is something else. Okay. So, folks.
Well, we saw last week a black flag came out, and it was Suarez who was ejected, and this week
Daniel Suarez and Kyle Larson have been parked for the remainder of the event.
Suarez can't blame it on his dog this week.
Yeah, well. We'll have to find out if Larson's bought any pets this week.
Jeff, I got some good news. We know that Parker Kligerman races here in this event and also works with the NBC Sports Group on NASCAR. However, Russell Wenrick has done the research. He's our stat man. That is not Parker's Emmy. His girlfriend, Shannon Ward, won that Emmy for coverage of the Rio Olympics. Feel better now?
Hey, I think it's very cool, but
I do too.
I thought we were going to have to really step our game up and work harder if we were going to get one of those on our show.
I think after today, I think we're going to, yes. But congratulations.
Yes.
All right, we're going green. We're halfway. And our new leader is Landon Castle with Chris Buescher, Matt DiBenedetto in the 21, Austin Dillon, Alex Bowman, Kurt Busch, and Garrett Smithley. Wow, 3 wide for a second there.
Yeah, not the start that I think Landon Castle wanted to get there.
Austin Dillon in the 3, Garrett Smithley in the picture, and Kurt Busch, none of whom stopped under that caution. William Byron with fresh tires trying to work his way up through from 7th.
Yeah, and Buescher to the outside of Landon Castle to take the lead, but they're still side by side. Shout out to Austin Dillon. Oh, we got the 89 and Landon gets turned. He's already, I think he mentioned he used a reset. I'm wondering if he'll have to use another one.
I think from here,
car's very damaged.
Might have to ride it out from here to stay on the lead lap. 72 laps to go. 8th caution.
Yeah, and you know, a lot of those guys had older tires, including Landon Castle.
It's Austin Dillon.
You can see the 2 leaders up front. Don't know if they made contact.
Oh.
Ouch.
That's got to hurt, even virtually.
Timmy Hill getting caught up in that also.
So Chris Buescher picks up the lead on this one from Matt DiBenedetto, Alex Bowman, and Garrett Smithley.
Coming up this week on The Hub, we're back for another week. We'll keep things exciting with special guests Kyle Long, Tyler Reddick, and Cole Custer. Plus, our very own Lindsay Zoniak goes one-on-one to check in with Clint Boyer, Christopher Bell, Kurt Busch, and Kyle Larson. All that and more this week on NASCAR Race Hub. Weeknights, 6 p.m. Eastern, only on FS1.
Hubba Dubba. Good to have Race Hub back Monday through Thursday. Chris Buescher will be the leader on the restart, and the iRacing officials have mercifully declared that we'll have single file restarts the rest of the way. This is often done in short track racing once you get to halfway. Call for single file restarts, especially in a race like this, which has had 8 caution flags in the first 78 laps. So it'll be Buescher, DiBenedetto in Fords, Bowman's Chevrolet, Smithley. On back, all have fresh tires. Smithley, Byron, Nemechek. Busch, Priest, Kligerman, and Hamlin are the top 10. Jimmie Johnson's in 11th. Our other in-race reporter, Clint Boyer, is 16th. There are 24 cars on the lead lap, and Joey Logano is in the free pass position. Brad Keselowski behind him.
And Mike, I kind of feel like these guys, the top 3 that have a lot more laps on their tires, are feeling very similar to some of those others where there's been so many caution laps that it's almost like having fresh tires still, even at this stage.
So the front 3 on older tires. Byron on back.
Yeah, that's the battle that I'm really interested in watching, is Smithley, Byron, John Hunter Nemechek, because they do have fresher tires and they may be pushing really hard right now to try to get track position. And so we'll see if Byron wants to push the issue on Smithley to try to get that position and be the first car with fresher tires. It's interesting to me to see how quick some cars can rebound. We saw Alex Bowman in that 88 car have some issues not that long ago where he got spun around and had some damage. And now, after that reset and some fresh tires and the strategy playing out in his favor to be in the top 3 right now.
Front 7 cars trying to break away a little bit from Ryan Preece and Denny Hamlin.
On board here with our leader, Chris Buescher, back to DiBenedetto in 2nd place.
And Byron on the move on the inside of Smithley. Remember, Matt DiBenedetto in the 95 last year nearly won Bristol. One of those races that I believe still keeps him up late at night. Maybe you can get a little back here today.
Yeah, and again, I can't help but say this, Mike. I really think that those actual laps in the race car around Bristol and the guys that like this racetrack seem to be doing extremely well today in iRacing also. Nice moves happening by William Byron. He is able to clear Smithley in that middle lane, now going after his teammate Alex Bowman. We've not seen guys, I know he's got fresher tires, but we've not seen guys be able to do this as successful as what we've seen here with William Byron. Now William going to get to the inside of Matt DiBenedetto for 2nd place, and looks like he clears him off of turn 2 or 4.
Well, Jeff, I like that he made quick work of that and probably did not abuse those fresh tires very much in the process.
And in iRacing, as you abuse those tires, it has the same kind of wear and tear on them as it would in the real world. So absolutely, Mike, I think that it's important that if you're going to take that risk and go to that inside lane, you can see John Hunter Nemechek trying to do the same thing, not doing it as efficiently as William Byron. I guarantee you that's going to play a big toll on those tires. Ooh, big moment for John Hunter Nemechek off of turn 2. The back end gets sideways, opens up the door for the outside of Kyle Busch.
Jeff, we're seeing a lot more give and take among these front runners than we did in the first half of the race.
Yeah, and I think that's the varying strategies and what they've been seeing. Oh, Kyle Busch gets turned off of turn 4, goes around.
And caution will wave with 50 to go. Lap 100 on the board with Chris Buescher out in front.
We're not talked about a lot about Christopher Bell, who was running up in the top 5 before some of those pit stops. You see him behind Kyle Busch in 14th position right now. Pretty heavy damage to that rear spoiler on the 18 of Kyle Busch.
And here's a look.
So this is the middle 3 and 4. I think maybe the 37 of Priest just barely got the left rear of the 18 of Busch, turned him sideways in front of John Hunter Nemechek, and collected, sorry, I keep saying Busch or Priest, Ryan Priest.
What's that old saying? He took the air off my spoiler?
Yeah.
Could have happened. Jimmie Johnson's going to pit.
All right, Jimmy, we see you coming down pit road. You were, what, about 10th or 11th? Did you get caught up in that, or is this just a tire strategy play?
This is tires for us. I fortunately did not get caught up in that. Oops, I went too far. Oh, man, come on. Sorry, Jeff.
Well, probably bad timing for us to talk to you when you're trying to get in your pit box and find that pit sign.
Yes, I will blame you, as I've made no mistakes in this game today. But yeah, that didn't help exactly, but we're okay. I've got tires going on now.
All right, now you got some tires. Don't speed on pit road while I'm talking to you.
I know.
Man, we've seen attrition play out in this race. It reminds me of the Bristol of old, where you just had to survive in order to get a good finish at the end.
Yeah, you do. And I mean, I think there's just some things that are different with the game. And I know I've had 2 incidents with not having a spotter, and I've heard some other guys talking about it on the race chat. So that's one piece. And then frustration kicks in, and guys are not holding back right now and retaliating with one another.
Jimmy, I guess the best part is it gives everybody a chance to have a little fun on Sunday afternoon, kind of forget about our troubles and our issues, and just concentrate on something that's fun. The only thing looks like it gets hurt here are egos.
You are absolutely right. And I've been trying to keep my ego in check as the last couple of weeks have gone by. I've been learning at such a fast pace in what it takes to be competitive in the iRacing world. Not only driving the game, but just getting everything set up is a challenge in its own. So it's been an interesting couple of weeks, but I'm so happy to provide some entertainment for all of our fans at home.
Yeah, well, you certainly are. We appreciate you making light of it, having fun, and joining us like so many other drivers. It is definitely adding to a lot of people's Sundays to see some NASCAR racing out there, even if it is in the virtual world.
Yeah, it is in the virtual world, but you know, I know everybody's missing their racing, and we, you know, I certainly am too. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll try to get this Ally Chevy up front.
All right, go get them.
Thanks, buddy.
Lights are out on the pace truck. Jimmy is 21st. There are 24 lead lap cars. Joey Logano 1 down, Brad Keselowski 2 down. Joey was the free pass car on that caution and got back 1 of his 2 laps. Chris Buescher's been out there on that set of tires for 61 laps. That is twice as long as the tire wear on anybody else in the field. He's got William Byron right behind him, trying to retake the lead. Then Garrett Smithley, John Hunter Nemechek, and Parker Kligerman as we go green.
And Mike, I think if Buescher can maintain that clean air up front, he can get away with having some older tires, at least for a good portion of this run, but he's going to get a lot of pressure from William Byron.
Byron on the inside for the lead.
Boy, William Byron just so good in iRacing, has a lot of laps, a lot of races under his belt. Pretty good win percentage. I think I talked to him earlier this week. He said over a 20% win percentage. So he's showing his skills in iRacing right now as he takes this lead.
Smithley coming up the outside. Austin Dillon inside. Riding with Nemechek.
Yeah, this is where it's going to get really difficult for these guys. Have to maintain a lot of patience because the 17 of Buescher there in second place has those older tires. Now he doesn't have the clean air, so that's only going to make those older tires feel like they're that much more used up and make it harder to hold off some of these guys behind him.
Kligerman and Reddick coming into play here.
Yeah, a lot of these guys, you see the 17, Chris Buescher, lose the back of the tire of the rear of the car there off of turn 2. Got really loose, had to check up a little bit. This is on board with the 17 of Buescher. Smithley putting the bumper to him going into turn 1. Oh, Smithley's going to get turned. He and Nemechek come together.
Smithley came off the wall into Nemechek's path and then took a hard hit to the wall, but we stay green with 37 to go. And Smithley's car doesn't appear to be too worse the wear for that.
Hey guys, keep an eye on that 21 car. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr. In fact, the caution is out.
Oh, the yellow
Cones
cone.
are in big trouble.
And the one of Kurt Busch decides to come back out on the racetrack when he knew the caution was out, but he clipped the end of pit road and those cones flew onto the track.
And I think one of them is lodged underneath the splitter of Kurt Busch's car. That's got to hurt. Byron back in the lead. Larry, if you're Chris Buescher, you like track position or do you want some tires?
This late in the game, your bet is made. You know, they have packed the pit equipment up if you're anywhere inside. What I was about to say is that in 9th place, Matt DiBenedetto on that 21 car, he was on the move. He was one of the cars that pitted that last time, so he has much fresher tires than anyone in front of him inside the top 8 or 9.
Okay. 35 laps to go. Denny Hamlin won the first round at Homestead, Miami. In Texas, the winner was Timmy Hill. And today, let's take a look at today's Geico race summary with 35 laps to go. It's the second time today William Byron has led. 23 cars on the lead lap, 3 leaders and 10 caution flags. I don't like caution flags. I love restarts.
Yeah.
I don't like caution flags so much.
Exactly, right?
Exactly.
We don't like torn up race cars. We don't like caution flags, but those restarts are pretty exciting and create some great racing.
Excuse me, Austin Dillon, the free pass. He'll get back on the lead lap, which will give us 19. Check that, 24 lead lap cars. Speaking of your bet is made, Ty Dillon. They adjusted the camera on the right. That's a very nicely made bet and plenty of sponsor paraphernalia, including the Geico to go along with Ty Dillon. How's your race going?
It's been a little wild. You know, the first couple races I used up my repairs too early and took myself out early. So I've been trying to conserve it. This has been a wild one, but we've had some good average finishes. It's just time to have a good finish.
Ty, I got to tell you, a couple of views are, you know, when we go inside some of these rigs and go to people's homes and basements. And so here you are in a bedroom. I'm not sure what bedroom this is in the house, but I also noticed this steering wheel. That looks like a steering wheel that would come out of your actual race car.
Yeah, so this is an old one. I don't have time to go get one of my MPI wheels, but this kind of resembles my rig. It's about 10 years old itself. I used to run on it back in the day when I raced ARCA, and it needs some updating, and I think 5 to 10 years on a anything online is about 50 to 100 years. So I got a bit of a dinosaur rig, but I'm having a lot of fun with this, and glad that you know, we're doing this, putting it on for the fans in a time across the country that you know, it's not easy, but we're having a lot of fun on these Sundays.
Well, that's why we're here. So have fun the rest of the way. Good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Thank you.
Oh yeah, and the Geico, of course. All right, Ty Dillon's in 22nd.
I loved how he had to push a space bar to talk to us on the keyboard.
That's right. So William Byron, who led the first 73 laps of this race, is back in command.
And checked out. The 17 of Chris Buescher did not get going on that restart. He's going to get past the 38 of John Hunter Nemechek now in second. Here comes Timmy Hill, the winner last week.
And our 2 heat winners are back up running 1-2. Matty D in 6th, racing Tyler Reddick.
And remember, we talked about Matt having the best tires of our leaders.
He's showing it right now.
Hats off to Tyler Reddick, too, doing a nice job here today in the 31 car. I know you mentioned him, Mike, but, you know, he's kept his car really nice and clean today, made some great laps. He's another one of those guys that does really well at Bristol, and it's paying off today in iRacing.
You saw Buescher fishtail there off the corner. I'm thinking that tire wear is taking its toll on the 17.
Absolutely. 80 laps on those tires, and it's showing. And that's creating this side-by-side action. That's, you know, 5th and 6th. Now DiBenedetto's going to end up going by Buescher as Buescher goes wide. Yeah. Denny Hamlin goes by.
Yeah, nice move for the 21, jumping up into 4th spot. And where's Mikey? Mikey, where are you? He's at Charlotte Motor Speedway watching it on the biggest big screen of all. Welcome back to Bristol. For those of you watching on Fox, when we're done here at the virtual Bristol Motor Speedway, it's Super Bowl 45 with the Green Bay Packers and Pittsburgh Steelers. And for those of you watching on FS1, America's Day at the Races will air once our virtual race here at Bristol is concluded. William Byron leading from John Hunter Nemechek, Timmy Hill, Matt DiBenedetto, and Tyler Reddick because of a pileup that started with 2 of the Team Penske drivers.
Joey Logano in the 22 goes to the inside of Keselowski. They make contact, and Keselowski spins and could not get the car rolling, and here comes Chris Buescher. Ouch.
Thank goodness that was a virtual crash. All right, we're getting ready to go back under green. 20 laps to go to finish this one off at Bristol Motor Speedway. William Byron has led the most laps today, 1 through 73, and then retook the lead right about lap 110.
Whatever you got right now, Mike, you just got to give it your all. I mean, you can't save tires, you can't save anything. You just got to put down some qualifying laps here for 18 to go.
How about Denny Hamlin doing a great job with a wrecked race car, working there on the inside on Tyler Reddick. Now you're with Timmy Hill, who was taken 3rd for Matt DiBenedetto on the restart, running John Hunter Nemechek for 2nd. Now there's a car ahead smoking with damage from a previous incident. Hopefully he'll stay down to the inside.
Looks like Brad Keselowski rolling slow around the bottom, smoking.
Reckon he's looking for a 22 car?
It might be. We've seen that play out today, Larry Mack.
Hamlin trying it on the inside. Looks like he's had, oh, it depends on the view. The right front is all torn up in this view. Some views show it not as badly damaged.
Sometimes really hard to judge where that right front fender is, and we've seen guys make contact by getting a little closer. Oh, look at Hamlin make the slide job into turn 3, but not going to complete it on Tyler Reddick.
That was a good view of the damage to his car. Ryan Preece, Kyle Busch looking on from 7th and 8th place. Back up to 2nd. Nemechek trying to hold off Hill.
You know, Timmy's done a nice job all day long working that lower lane. We've not seen a lot of guys do it successfully, but he's done it more than anybody as we go on board the 21 of Matt DiBenedetto here in the 4th position. He might be able to get to the right rear quarter panel of Timmy Hill, and he does so off of turn 4.
Larry, we're coming to 10 to go.
Yeah, I'm going to get this out quick. Now, remember, this is iRacing, but it's still Bristol Motor Speedway. I looked at the last Tim Cup races here in the spring, and the final caution in the last 4%.
You couldn't get it out fast enough, Larry, unfortunately.
You need a caution, just go to Larry Mack.
Cautions for sale or rent.
I was only off by 1 lap. Oh, did I say we also do 3 attempts at an overtime?
No, don't say that.
No, but yeah, thanks, Larry.
11th caution flag.
I think
with
Kyle
9 to go.
Busch may have been caught up in this one.
Good chance since he's no longer among the front runners.
There's a replay. It's into turn 1. He gets wide, makes contact with the 37 of Preece. Ooh, contact with Chastain also. But yeah, you can see how much speed Kyle Busch carried into the corner and then made contact with Ryan Preece. That sent him around.
How about our buddy Clint Boyer is now up to 12th place.
Yeah,
Way to
man,
go.
that strategy's working out good.
Just let him wreck, guys. What a mess. This is the Bristol of old. That is for sure. It's extremely hard. I mean, obviously, people at home are seeing this, but you can't so much as even touch each other, and it's off to the wall. Really, really difficult, treacherous, trying to figure out what groove to run, trying to figure out, you know, how much damage you can get away with. A lot of people all over the place with damage, no damage. The guys up front, boy, they're making us look bad. The guys that have experience on iRacing, they're making us look really bad. But I want to check on old Bubba. Where's he at? Where's that Bubba guy at?
32nd.
Oh, he got mad and quit already. How about Suarez? I think I heard something about a tweet. There's already
your
a
buddy
fight.
Larson. And
I
your
mean,
buddy Larson.
Yes, it is a. This is Bristol, man. You never leave Bristol. There's only one guy that leaves Bristol happy. That's the winner. Everybody else is mad, hates each other for a few days, and then gets over it. Right now during the quarantine, this might last for a month. Who knows?
I was going to say, Clint, when we get back to real racing, how many of these rivalries and some of these moments like this will carry over?
I hope all of them. All of them is the answer.
Clint, you have a lot fresher tires than most of those guys in front of you.
Yeah.
Are we going to be content with just a top 15 run here?
Typical crew chief, always take care of themselves first. Hey, how about the last 3 times we pitted? Where were you at? Eating ice cream.
I was.
We
I
had
was
damage
finishing off my
repair.
ice
We
cream.
had decisions to make. Are we pitting? No pit. How many laps to go? We need some math. Are we going to make it on fuel?
But now
Crew chief
you've
quit.
got that special set of tires.
Special
You
set of
can
tires.
pass on the outside.
Hey, look at here, boys.
All right, here's the tweet from Daniel Suarez. Yeah. Well, temper.
That is awesome, man. We are virtual racing on a Sunday, literally in his living room. Oh, I got to go.
Yes, because we're about to restart.
Go green, man. Get you a top 10. Come on.
All right,
Clint,
Boyer.
work your hands, not your mouth here in these last few laps.
Boyer is now 11th. Byron the leader. Nemechek, DiBenedetto, Hill, and Hamlin, the top 5. Preece, Reddick, Kligerman, Smithley, and McDowell, the top 10.
John Hunter Nemechek holding back, trying to create a gap for this restart.
He's going to have to go before Byron to have a chance here. Can't do it.
Oh, DiBenedetto timed it really well. Almost got to the rear bumper of John Hunter Nemechek.
Nemechek did not get a great start.
Oh!
Wow.
DiBenedetto tried to slam the door on Timmy Hill.
4 to go. He's on all defense now.
And Timmy is there. Wonder how much those fresher tires on the 21 at Benedetto played out on that restart. Maybe John Hunter Nemechek spun the tires, but as he got locked down that inside lane, those fresher tires don't matter as Denny Hamlin goes by.
Coming to 1 lap to go. Woo. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. Byron out front by a second. This is the battle for second place.
Oh, contact.
Bump
Timmy
and
Hill,
run.
almost 3 wide as they come to the checkered.
But Nemechek hangs on for second. William Byron is the winner. Byron 1 iRace short of 1,500 for his career. 309th win.
And bringing out that new paint scheme this weekend, that paid off. He finally got a win. He maybe could have had 2 by now, but haven't gone his way. But it did today here in Bristol.
William Byron in the Blue Flame Special will go to victory lane. Time to make the donuts. On the left, William Byron doing victory donuts. On the right, that is Dustin Griffiths, whose 410 Sprinter is sponsored by Crescent Donut Shop in Bloomington, Indiana. Shout out to them. That's his new wrap for the 2020 season. Good luck. Thanks to Jeff Stewart for sending that along. So the donuts are made. William Byron, after leading 114 laps, is in victory lane. How about that? What a show. William, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, guys. It was a lot of fun. We had to work through some track position and really just kind of keep ourselves up towards the top 5, and luckily we were able to do that and make the pass on Chris Buescher there, and then really just manage the restart. So thankful to Axalta for letting us run this cool black and blue paint scheme. It's got some awesome looking blue on it, so really happy with that. It was fun.
William, this is Jeff. Let's mix the real world with the virtual world. You've got a lot of races, a lot of laps, and a lot of wins in iRacing. You know, you've been so close in these NASCAR races that we've been putting on FS1 and Fox. You finally get it today, but, you know, talk about the amount of laps and preparation it takes for you to actually get to this level. We saw some guys have a lot of trouble today, but not you.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's tough. Some things are different, but there's a lot that's similar. And this was one of the racetracks that I've always enjoyed coming to in the Cup car, and really all the cars that I've ran there. And you know, I feel like it. Honestly, working on this track in the off season a little bit on iRacing was helpful, and you know, it's just fun to have a little bit of pressure on a race on iRacing, because I normally just do it to try to learn and get better, but to be able to run it in front of a good group of guys and a lot of different names is really cool.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, the Blue Flame Special looked really good out there today. Maybe a little too good. My gosh. Well, Clint, how'd we do today? 11th place.
That's a terrible question, Mike. It was a war field out there.
It was.
I mean, I'm not kidding. I'm wore out. I am sweated. I'm pitted up. I'm frustrated. I'm mad. I cannot. I'm stopping by Bubba's house on the way home. That's it. It is on. I know. He sent me dirty language on a text.
Oh, no.
Yes. I cannot wait for Radio Sweetheart to come out. What night is that? Monday, Tuesday nights that they
Tuesdays
put
usually.
us all to the laugh is on us, basically. But, man, a lot of fun, very challenging racetrack, as it is in real life. But I can't wait to get back on a bigger track. And more importantly, back in real life, man. This is such a fun track, fun weekend. I had people texting me all week saying what they would be doing in that particular moment. A guy was up buying a T-shirt. Cool track, not so cool on virtual.
Well,
on
sorry
next
about
week,
that.
baby.
I think we're the Brady bunch here. Jeff, what'd you think?
Yeah, well, I'm with Clint. I mean, this is a racetrack I love going to, even if it's in iRacing. Yeah, we saw a lot of cautions, a lot of big wrecks, but we saw some great racing as well. So I just love the fact that on Sundays we get to get on Fox and FS1 and go racing, and it's great to be on a short track with those high banks at Bristol today. Larry?
Yeah, Jeff, I think we knew it was only a matter of time before William Byron won one of these races, but I do want to give a shout to John Hunter Nemechek, up there racing with a ton of iRacing experience with William Byron and Timmy Hill, won the heat race and came home second, and you saw a first and a last. My first job as an iRacing crew chief and my last.
He's fired.
All right. Well done, everybody. Now, the next iRacing on Fox is going to be Wednesday night from the dirt in Knoxville, Iowa. The gang will see you there. Tonight, the WrestleMania 36 kickoff show is on FS1 at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And to order WrestleMania 36, which airs at 7 p.m. tonight, go to foxsports.com/WrestleMania. It looked a little like WrestleMania out there today at virtual Bristol Motor Speedway. Hope you enjoyed it.